Hey everyone, how's everybody doing? So we'll just kind of post this over here. Actually, maybe I'll put it. Can I put it back? All right, that was kind of funny. All right, well, sorry, I was looking to try to do something, but I kind of lost my nerve there. How's everybody doing today? Sorry, I'm still trying to get all kind of like set up and stuff. I was gonna wear a hat today. I just realized I'm not wearing a hat, so you guys get to see my um, you guys get to see my full whatever the hell's going on here today. Full whatever's going on here today. Ooh. Yeah, I told you we're still working on the setup. We're still kind of getting things going, but I'm kind of liking this one. It is haircut time. I have a haircut scheduled for tomorrow. So, I do have a haircut scheduled for tomorrow. So, okay, this is too funny to even like waste like one more second like not talking about. Taurus, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. I really, really appreciate that. Thanks so much. Huge W's in the chat for Taurus. There is one special person, okay, who just got gifted. Oh, excuse me. Who was just gifted a membership. We have Marjorie Trader Green. Thank you so much for being a new member of the Poly Politics Live. Taurus gifted one directly to Marjorie Trader Green, or Marjorie Taylor Brown, as I call her. I call her Marjorie Taylor Brown because grass turns brown when it starts to rot and it's not green anymore. So it's Marjorie Trader Green Brown. Marjorie Taylor Green Brown. You know, you want to like tell me you lost your fastball without telling you lost your fastball? Like Trump, oh shoot. Trump used to be like on point. Like, I mean, you say what you want about him, but dude could talk shit. All right. He has completely lost his fastball. That is that's an embarrassingly bad way of making fun of somebody. Just thought I'd let you know that. But sorry, I know there was also other people that got gifted. Jack Frost with the I see Jack Frost here all the time. That's awesome. Caesar Blanco, Artistic's here quite a bit too. Light Mocha is here quite a bit. Thank you guys so much. Great people got great memberships there. So I think that's really, really awesome. So thank you so much, Taurus. I really, really appreciate that. And Ogden also with the gifted membership to start out the live. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much, Ogden.
It's insane.
And we get some W's in the chat for Ogden for the gifted membership also. I didn't see who got it. I can find, hold on, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Pepper, the new member over there. Pepper, we got the new member Pepper here today, over there. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you guys today. Thank you so much. Sorry, I have a little setup. My screens are looking a little different. I'm all over the place today, so I'm trying to I'm trying to get everything looking good. All right. Velvet, thank you so much for the $2 super chat to start the day out too. I really appreciate that. Velvet says that Trump was giving a speech drooling last month. Well, the important thing to know about that is what he was really just trying to do. Okay, so they teach you this a lot when you're, when you're public speaking, right? I know for a lot of you guys who have taken public speaking classes and stuff like that. I think it's always really important to know your audience, right? And so I think that's really what Donald Trump was doing it. I think that he was just drooling because he knows that most of the people that support him are mouth breathers. So he was really just trying to, to relate to his people. And it's a very important skill, right? He was really just trying to, connect to his audience. And that's an important thing to do. It's an important thing to do, right? See, this is what I'm talking about, okay? This is why nobody trusts, okay, you liberals, okay? Donald Trump can't even connect with his audience, all right? By drooling without you guys just trying to make it a bad thing, right? It's really sad. It's really sad, okay? And oh my goodness, did you see? And Velvet, right after that, Velvet became a member. Isn't that awesome? Can we get W chat from new member Velvet over here? Me too. Thank you so much for the $10 over on Cash App. Said for some coconut oil to get your curls popping. I do. I have actually very nice coconut oil curling cream that normally I would use. But I just got done playing tennis. As you guys know, I play tennis with my kiddo on Wednesdays, and so no curling cream in there. I would just be sweating it all out anyway. So we don't do that on on Wednesdays. But thank you so much for that $10 over on Cash App. I really do appreciate that. Me too. Thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate it. That means a lot to me. So thank you so much. I'll make sure to maybe I'll try to get some in tomorrow. Maybe I'll try to get that in tomorrow for you. Okay. I'll get them because I'm going to get a haircut tomorrow before I come in. So I'll get a haircut, get it all nice and curly and pretty, and then we'll get it. We'll get it going that way, right? Thank you so much. Me too. And oh my gosh, Dave the Train Guy. We haven't talked to Dave the Train Guy in a while. Dave the Train Guy with the $10 super chat over here. Said, sup, Paulie, been a while. Things got very busy, but I got to see a ton of trains. Hopefully you're doing well. Well, you know what? Dave, if you weren't out seeing trains, then you wouldn't be Dave the Train Guy. Okay? If you weren't going to see trains, then you wouldn't be Dave the Train Guy. That's why you're here. Okay? So you can go see the trains. And I've seen you post the pictures in my Discord. Everybody loves you bringing in the trains. Okay? Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. So that's really, really awesome. So good to see you, Dave. Good to see you. Really, really good to see you. Can we get W chat for Dave the Train Guy? If you're not in my Discord and you don't go in the hobby section, I did have to tell Dave he couldn't just be, he couldn't be the only person in my hobby section over there. But Dave the Train Guy does post some trains here and there. and he will give you the full backstory on the trains. And it's really awesome info. It's really fun to listen to. So if you're in the Discord, go check out the hobby section every once in a while. You'll definitely want to go check that out. All right, we have VJ with the gifted membership. I definitely didn't see who got that one. I wonder if I can pull it real quick. I can. TNT. TNT's been here a long time also. TNT with the membership. Thank you so much for that, Velvet. And TNT, welcome in. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining the team, being over here. Velvet, thank you so much for the $10. Do you plan on raising the age restriction to 21 plus, or is it still 19-year-olds? I, for the most part, tried to keep the conversation to people above the age of 21. I will. It just depends on how the live is going. It depends on how the live is going. That's all. If the live is flowing and I can be a little more picky, then I do that. If the live is kind of being a little slower, which it has been a little bit this month, then we keep the conversations going. I just, it just depends. It just depends. That's all. So I try to do my best. Thank you so much, Velvet. I really, really appreciate that. And Shay started the off with the huge sticker. Says you're amazing with the $50 super sticker, starting this thing out well. Man, you guys are just showing all the love to start this live. I could not have asked for more. I really, really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We got to get huge subs to chat for Velvet, for Dave the Train Guy, for all the people that gifted the memberships already, and of course for Shay with the huge $50 super sticker. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Huge W's in chat for them this evening on my late start. Also, I saw Corey put a message in there. I didn't get to it in time. I don't know if I can pull it back or not. I can't find it. Corey wanted to know how bad Madison, or how bad she whooped my ass today, and she's getting pretty gnarly. She put some shots on me today. I was like, oh no, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. She's getting better. She still gets a little intimidated whenever she's like actually facing like an opponent that's like trying to play competitively. She starts to lose a little bit of her abilities, just a bit, not a whole lot, just a bit. Anyways, y'all, we're gonna get this thing going, get this thing moving. So I'm about to open up guest request box. I'm gonna open up phone lines. We're gonna do all of that stuff, and yeah, get this thing going with some conversation. So if you still support Trump for whatever reason that is, make sure that you either call in on the phone line or join the guest request box, and we'll get this thing going. She's only been playing for like 6 months. She's never like really played competitively, so she's learning. She's learning. And that's okay. We like that. How have you guys liked the newer live? It's a little brighter than normal. All right. I'm trying out some other, little new stuff over here. Luis, you already missed the part of the conversation where we talked about me not wearing a hat today, bud. All right. And that is straight because I forgot, but also, not only did I forget, I am way too OCD to take one of my very even rows up there and take it down. That's not going to happen. Okay. I am not going to do this whole live. All right. With an uneven row of hats up there. Like, I mean, let's not Let's not be crazy over here, right? Let's not be insane. All right. We have to have standards here, okay? We have to have standards over here. All right. We can't just be, just letting just hats go crazy. No, I had the ability to change the lighting up a little bit just to I thought it made my clarity a little bit better. So I actually kind of adjusted my cameras quite a bit today. You could take one that the logos cover. Oh, but see, the logo only covers it for you guys, but not for the other people watching. Wear 2 hats. That is an option. I could wear 2 hats. I guess I would have to wear 4 hats. So we like even it out. All right, but that seems like a lot of hats. I don't know how we get to like that many hats. I know some of you guys are going to like the old lighting. Some of you guys are going to like the new lighting. We're just playing around. We're changing things. We're moving stuff. My clarity was a lot better on my face for this one. So that's why I kind of held with that one. So I was getting washed out in some spots with the other lighting. So as we adjust it, as we keep it moving forward, we will keep it moving. We will keep changing things. We will keep letting things go. We'll keep adjusting the lighting. We'll see. We'll see. Velvet, thank you so much for the $5. Yes, phone lines are open, by the way. I think I already said that, but yeah, that's fine. If they keep bringing up LGBTQ, do you plan on stopping the debate due to being tired of talking about it, or what is your plan? It just depends on how the conversation goes. Again, like I'm not just going to stop talking about anything to do with LGBTQ plus just in general. No, I mean, that is something that's important. I am not going to let them drag every conversation to a trans argument, which is what they've been doing. Right? That is generally what they do a lot, is they just try to drag the conversation straight into a trans argument. I'm not gonna let them do that. So yeah, it just depends. And see, I figured this exact thing was going to happen. And it's actually really funny. So it seems that the people that see me on the portrait live like the old lighting, but the people that see me on a landscape live like the new lighting, and that actually makes sense because I think it looks better on the landscape live than it does on the portrait live. Funny enough. Yeah. Yep, I bet you that's what it is. It looks better over there. Luis, thank you so much for the 10 gifted. Also, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Can we get huge W's in the chat for Luis for the 10 gifted to start to get going on this live? God, we have had so many gifteds. Can we get extra W's in the chat if you got one of these gifteds? There already have been a ton of gifteds already going on in this live. We already had, between new members and gifteds, we already had 18 going on this live. That is absolutely amazing. Maria, Zazu, Hot Sauce, Mike, Army Doc, We the People, Chibs, Tammy, Unlocked, Shrek. Everybody with the gifteds or with the memberships and the gifteds to start the live. That is absolutely better. Yeah, I told you, Corey. I told you.
New members and gifteds, we already had 18.
Yo, hello.
That is absolutely amazing. Maria.
That was kind of weird. Yeah, see, I told you, Corey. It's so weird how different, what do you mean third time you've tried calling? You haven't tried calling unless that was you. And if that was you, then you have to listen to the phone, okay, and not listen to the live because there's a delay. Yeah, see, I told you. I told you, it just does. All right, I gotta move this. All right. Anyhow, yeah, no one is called 3 times, so I know that that's a lie. So, oh, we got Dean Raiders in the house. What's going on, Dean Raiders? How you guys doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. Hello. How are you?
Well, just want to say you're doing a good job, and I support what you're doing, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, have a good day, man.
Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
So,
Hi. How old are you?
like 6, 7.
You're like 6, 7.
Yeah.
Not even like on it.
No.
No, just like it.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh?
How you been doing, though, man?
Obviously better than you. Doesn't sound like you're doing great at all.
Hey, why?
But anyways, I guess you just wanted to talk and you needed a friend, so I'm glad that I could be here for you. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye bye now.
Nah.
All right. Hey, sometimes people just need friends. Okay. It's important for people. Yeah. Sometimes people just need some friends. Hello, how are you?
Good. You?
I'm excellent. How old are you?
I am 34.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I do, yes. There are some policies and some decisions that he has made that I don't necessarily agree with, but some of it I still do. I am a centrist. I, try to look at both sides of the aisle and using my best judgment kind of come to the conclusion that, we need both sides to work together. And one of those things that I do agree with that Trump is doing that some people might not is immigration, deportation. My mother, she is a immigrant from Mexico, came to America early 90s, met my father, San Diego, California, had me, he was in the military. And throughout her life, she has gone to school, worked multiple jobs to support us. And, to her, she just thinks it's unfair for what's going on with people coming over to America illegally, getting benefits. She works for a state agency.
So this thing is about fairness.
Fairness, yes. And
okay. Well, if you want to go about fairness, then I don't think it's fair that you or your mother are here.
That I was born in America and that she immigrated legally.
What does legally have to do with fairness? Why do you think that because you do something legally that makes it fair? It doesn't, right? So if you really want to be honest with people about it, right? Most people probably think I shouldn't be here, even though, half of my family, my ancestors were brought here on slave ships. That wasn't fair, right? It wasn't fair to any of us, but we're still here, right? Because the thing about legality is it has nothing to do with fairness, right? You're trying to make it about fairness, but it's not about fairness. Your mother doesn't deserve to be here any more or less than anybody who comes here documented right now, undocumented under any asylum status. There is no fairness to any of that, right? And the law behind it doesn't make it fair, right? There's been plenty of things that have been legal in the United States that both currently aren't fair and have not been fair historically throughout the United States, right? So it's really not about fairness for you. It sounds like you're trying to make a legality argument, and that's completely different.
I mean, yes and no. So obviously there is fairness in the eyes of the law when it comes to certain things. Trump being president, he does have some leeway on who he wants to allow into the countries, such as the South American farmers. And, to me, that would benefit America because a lot of those people do have skills that people my age and younger don't necessarily want to take up. Farming, it's a hard it's a hard career, it's a hard job, it's a hard thing to do. So people that can come into our country and better America and bring, values that kind of match what America is. Yes, I know America is a melting pot, but if there are those extremists, either right or left, that come in, they're not going to mesh well with, basically the status quo.
But Donald Trump is the extremist. What are you talking about? In order to be here under Donald Trump's administration, you are the extremist. And when you're talking about people contributing, undocumented immigrants do contribute. They contribute a shitload. They contribute a very, very significant amount to our economy, to our Social Security, to our to our labor market, to our pricing, to everything. Right? Every single time Donald Trump deports another group of immigrants from this country or detains another group of immigrants, it is only taking from the Americans. It's not helping us in any way, shape, or form.
So going back to what my mom does, she works for a state.
Sir, no offense.
Agency.
No offense. Okay. I know you really want to make this about your mom. Okay. But Donald Trump is not doing his policies targeted around your mom. Okay. And while I'm sure that you very much care about your mom, I truly couldn't care less. Okay. Because it is kind of crazy to me that you're that you're talking about, the immigration status of people when Donald Trump is literally revoking the immigration status of people that are here legally, right? Like over 400,000 people, he's overturned their legal immigration status, right? He's currently detaining and, putting people in immigration centers, right? Or what he calls them, immigration centers that are legally here. He's detaining and deporting documented people. He's detaining American citizens. He's doing all of those things. But Donald Trump wants to literally take away, your actual citizenship, because it's been in the courts for him to try to take away birthright citizenship, literally, which would take away your even right to be here. So it is birthright citizenship under individuals who did come into the country illegally. If you want to talk about countries that are basically following the same practice as Donald Trump, you got Poland, and you have, Denmark. Denmark, who has a leftist socialist government, actually took the ideas of far-right extremism and are now implementing them into their government, everyday government decisions. With hold on, did you just say what kind of government do they have?
They're leftist, democratic. They're midline socialist also.
Yeah, and you said they took extreme right-wing policies. What would that be?
Basically what Donald Trump is doing right now. You can look. You can
just give me an example.
Yeah, I don't know if you watch like Asmongold or Philion, but I tend to watch a little bit of everything.
Sir, I don't need you to qualify it. You can just tell me.
Okay, but they both came out with a video regarding this. I don't know who was it the BBC? It was some European news broadcast that came out with this. And again, I know. Sir, Poland,
just the policy, please. Can we get to the policy? What is the policy? What is the far right policy? I truly don't need the
no immigration whatsoever.
No immigration isn't a far right policy. What are you talking about? Traditionally, right wingers, especially people that are staunch capitalists, prefer immigration policies that are less stringent.
I mean, I gave you what far rightists want is they want lower immigration.
That's not true.
Yes, capitalists.
It's just simply not true. If you look traditionally through through American history, like the people who were strongest against immigration are people on the left, and people that were for more open immigration are people on the right, because people on the right tend to be more capitalist, and immigrants bring in a cheap labor force, which increases their bottom line. So therefore, immigrants tend to come in more on right wing groups or right wing policies than left wing, not the other way around. What makes you think that immigration is a far right wing policy? Just because Donald Trump is doing it poorly?
No. Looking back at, say, Joe Biden's era, when millions of people were coming across the border, that's when a lot of these, top companies profited the most because they had cheap labor come through. With all of that being said, if we want to help Americans and boost the economy, we do need to limit the amount of individuals that we have come in and make these companies pay their fair share. Again, me being a centrist, it's, there's a balance between being capitalist. Yes, if you work hard enough, you should be able to have what you make out of it. But at the same time, America is somewhat of a socialist country, social security. That's, a socialist-based idea. You put money into, some government program and you get out of it whenever you retire from whatever you're doing. So I'm not.
All right, sir. Sir, you have to breathe. Okay, I'm feeling like you're going to have to hit like a life alert button somewhere in there. Sir, when I talk about
I'm jogging right now.
Sir, when I talk about immigration policies throughout the United States, we have to be able to look a little bit further than the last president. Okay, because the last president specifically was not based off of his policies as much as it was based on his circumstance. Okay, and his circumstance was that we had a destabilization of the Northern Triangle of North South America, specifically due to rising crime and political violence based off of COVID, right? So again, that wasn't specifically a Biden thing. When I say traditionally the left and the right, we look back further. How about at least give me a few decades, and you'll see that I'm absolutely correct. Okay, but to be completely honest with you, sir, if you're going to be jogging, then I'm going to let you go jog, and I'm going to go talk to somebody not jogging.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
Have a good one.
Plus, if I hear you say you're a centrist one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. Anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really appreciate you. We're going to move on to the next caller and keep this thing going. So thank you guys so much for being here. He's trading to get ready to run from ICE is wild, bro. Sorry, that's wild. Hello, how are you?
Doing well. How about yourself, Polly?
I'm excellent. How old are you?
29.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yes.
I don't like when people say Polly like that. I feel like I've talked to you a bunch of times whenever people say that.
Yeah, actually, we did talk.
All right, well, I'm going to go talk to somebody else.
Number on an app to.
All right, cool. Hello, how are you?
Hey, good. How you doing?
I'm excellent. How old are you?
Over 21.
All right, awesome. How much over 21?
You checking IDs?
Yes. If the right did that more often, we wouldn't be in this Epstein situation, would we?
Maybe if we had voter IDs, we'd be better off too.
Maybe. But regardless, what all voters have to do is actually show some proof of identification, and all of those have their age on them. So again, how old are you?
Over 21.
All right, cool. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day then, Kay.
You too, then.
All right. Guys, if we can't get through the simple questions, then I'll just drop you. Okay. If we can't get through the simple questions, I'll just move on. Okay. Because I can already tell you, if you're making things this difficult to just, if you're making things this difficult to just have a conversation, then I don't really want to continue to have a conversation with you. It's pretty simple, honestly. Hello, how are you? That's the easiest question you're gonna get, by the way. It's gonna be how you doing today? How old are you? Do you support Trump? If we can't get through those three, then I don't know what we're gonna do. Hello, how are you?
Oh, that might be tough. Can we go one at a time and we'll get through it?
I would hope that you could remember them. I just said them all.
24. I'm doing fantastic today, and I do support Donald Trump.
Oh, well, out of order, but I guess we kind of got there. Regardless, so what has Donald Trump done for you lately?
I personally support Donald Trump because he is the first administration out of 3 to release the Epstein files. So I'm very proud of him for doing that. Transparency is very important.
Yeah, so Donald Trump released the Epstein files after being compelled to release the Epstein files because of Congress when he could have done it the whole time. So you're happy that Donald Trump released files that he had the ability to release the whole time, but was forced to do.
Well, I mean, Joe Biden and Obama could have released files when after Epstein got convicted, and they didn't.
Incorrect. Actually, they were still under an active investigation. Donald Trump came in and ended that active investigation, and so then the files were actually able to be released. Yeah, that investigation was going on.
Wasn't the House Oversight Committee also doing an investigation, and the DOJ was also investigating the files for Trump?
Yes, the DOJ was until Donald Trump ended that investigation.
So he had 2 investigations going on as well.
Sir, Donald Trump ended the Department of Justice investigation.
And released the files. Correct. That's why I supported
No, and then was forced to release the files.
Okay. Well, you can call it what you want.
Okay, let me give you a timeline. Okay.
So why didn't Joe Biden release the files?
I'll give you a timeline. Okay. Very simple. Active investigation started. Okay.
Yes.
Donald Trump president. Biden president. Active investigation still going on. You can't release files when the active investigation is going on. Donald Trump comes back in office, active investigation over. Therefore, Donald Trump is the first person with the ability. Then Donald Trump could have just released the files on his own recognizance. Didn't need anybody to force him to, nothing like that. Actually, he's told us straight up they were boring. There was nothing in there that we were going to see. I don't know how Blowin' Bubba is somehow something not interesting for us to hear. I think anybody that read that finds it at minimum interesting, right? And then, okay, due to, and I never thought I would say this, due to the somewhat heroic efforts of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, okay, they forced the release in the House. And then once they already had the votes that were going to force the release of the votes, then Donald Trump, after he was already going to be forced, was like, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. We're going to release the thing that I am now being forced to release anyway. You see how that went?
Yeah, so I would say you could argue that Joe Biden kept it under investigation as a way to cover up and not have to release it at all.
You could.
I think this is obviously a very global thing. This is obviously very deep with Israel and a lot of powerful people. So it's a little more complicated than we think. And again, I would praise Donald Trump because he listened to the American people. You can call it being forced all you want, but the truth is he caved to the American people. To me, that is a trait of a good president.
You mean he followed the law for once?
It's not that simple, quite.
Sir. After they were voting to force him to do it, he did not have a choice. Okay? That wasn't a choice given to Donald Trump. Okay? It's kind of like me saying, right? Like, I am like actively avoiding dating Rihanna. Okay.
So you're
like
saying,
I'm actually
let me
dating.
get this right.
No, sir, I didn't have a choice. Okay.
Okay. So let me
Rihanna
explain.
doesn't want to talk to me. I'm not cute enough, tall enough, or rich enough.
Funny.
Okay.
Funny.
So I don't have the choice there. Okay. But I can claim, very easily that I am making this direct choice to do something that was completely forced on me. Right. But,
Yeah,
but
well,
that's
then
not the way that works.
Then I'll change my claims to help you understand a little bit better.
Sure.
I am
please do.
proud of him. I am proud of him for bringing the investigations to a close within his first year of office, because Joe Biden, for some reason, it took all 4 years and he didn't get anything done in that investigation. And then as soon as Trump gets in office, they close the investigation and now he's able to release the files.
Yeah.
So if anything, I'll praise him for closing the investigations. And then we don't even have to say we can praise him for releasing the files. We can praise the House. We can praise Congress for listening to the American people. But the truth is, his DOJ and his House Oversight Committee got the investigations closed and able to release.
Well,
So in that case, I praise him for that.
Here's another thing that you should probably be aware of, that prior to Donald Trump, okay, the Department of Justice was allowed to act without orders from the president, right? They were actually purposefully allowed to act without the president being involved, right? And that's what Biden
They still are.
Yeah, not in Donald Trump's presidency. He's actually very much come out and said, I am in control of this Department of Justice.
It doesn't matter what he says.
Hold
that
on,
just
sir,
means he
sir,
is
sir,
the influence. He leads it. He's
that's
the
fine.
leader of it.
Cool. I'm going to
But
finish
he didn't
speaking now.
change the law.
You
He
can
didn't change the law.
you can keep yelling all you want. I'm still going to finish
He
my
has a
sentence.
loyal DOJ. That's all that means.
Cool. I don't want my president to have a loyal DOJ. Okay, I think that's a very bad thing.
Okay,
right?
but you made a
What
claim
I
that he
want,
changed
what
the
I,
law,
sir,
which is false.
sir, I didn't say that.
So
he
you're just
changed the
blatantly
law.
lying on this live.
Okay, I didn't say that he changed the law. So now you can be quiet again.
You literally said that word for word.
Okay, cool.
Rewind about 2 minutes.
Okay, well, do you know how to rewind this live?
Can you play the VOD? If you can play the
Do you
VOD
know
out
how,
loud,
do you know how to rewind this live?
you're gonna have to concede.
No, I'll gladly rewind it. Can you tell me how?
Dude, I don't know how. I don't have the system,
Okay,
but
then
I know a lot of
can
streamers do
you
it.
try something else? It's called shutting the fuck up.
Yeah, let me try it.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So what I was saying is that the president allowed the DOJ to act independently, okay? And Donald Trump has been very clear that he doesn't act, that the DOJ is not allowed to act independently. The DOJ should not be forced to be under the president at any point in time. What you do see when you have, the DOJ forcing investigations or forcing the closing of investigations, right, due to the president, is what you have is things like, like the Comey investigation right now, where there is huge prosecutorial misconduct going on, where the grand jury wasn't even read the full indictment, while also claiming that they were, that an indictment was found, right? But all because Donald Trump forced, right? It's because Donald Trump forced them to investigate somebody that they shouldn't. So I don't think that that's a good thing. All right. I don't think that's a good thing at all. But hey, sir, if you're super happy about Donald Trump being mentioned in, 2,300 emails, about 1,600 times in those Epstein emails, and, being, proof being shown that Donald Trump was not only knew about the girls, right, but spent hours at a time in Epstein's home with girls that he was trafficking or whatever he was doing with Bubba, that's fine. But Donald Trump didn't make this choice because he wanted to. He definitely did that because he was forced to. And I just want to make that very, very clear.
So I'm going to acknowledge the DOJ point first, and I'm going to acknowledge the specific email about knowing about the girls, quote unquote. So you say Donald Trump is in charge of this DOJ. So again, I think that gives him credit for closing the investigation and releasing the files. It doesn't. If you're saying Joe Biden didn't have control of his DOJ, to me that's also a sign of weakness and a bad president. And the fact that Trump is in control of the DOJ, and within his first year, one of his main points with the DOJ was to close the investigation so we can release all the files and the American public can investigate. That's, to me, is a W, and I'm glad we get to see all the files. Also, I think when it comes to that one email about knowing about the girls, that seems to be the one that is like the hyper focus of the media right now. When it comes to strip clubs and when it comes to all that type of work in that industry, they reference them as girls, but they are clearly adult women. They are 25-year-old women, 21-year-old plus women, and they call them the girls. So we know Epstein and Trump worked with model agencies, and they refer to them as girls. So to me, that absolutely proves nothing at all. And we also know that I understand you could condemn that and say, well, he still knew. Well, what if it was prostitutes and they were still selling their bodies or whatever? We have politicians like Mamdani who want to decriminalize sex work. So to me, it's not a big moral problem if he knew about girls working in that industry that were consenting adults doing such. To me, that email proves absolutely nothing. And I think the release of the files will be a little more telling. And, I don't
Well, it is
think it's
actually
that
very funny that you're giving Donald Trump credit for closing the investigation when his DOJ, which he is already, again, like you said, very in charge of, is now saying that they're reopening investigations specifically at the time when they need to actually release the files. And because of opening up those investigations, they're not actually going to have to release all those files because, again, like I just explained to you, right? You can't release files that are in the middle of investigation.
Wait,
so that,
Pam Bondi just said she's going to release them in the next 30 days.
Yes, the ones that aren't under investigation. She did not say she was going to release all of the files.
Okay.
She just said she was going to.
And how many are
I guess
being
we'll find out,
redacted?
sir, but it's not all of them. Okay.
Okay. Interesting.
That's what we know. Okay. But so you're giving credit to Donald
He
Trump.
still released the most files out of any administration.
Are you finished, sir?
Yeah, I would still say he released more than any that Biden did. So yeah.
All right. Whenever
Still
you're done.
W. Still more transparent than Biden. I am done.
Okay, awesome. So you just gave Donald Trump, said that Joe Biden wasn't in control of closing down the investigation, which again is not what you want. You said that that's weakness, which is funny. It means that every single president that's ever existed in the United States somehow is now weak right? And Donald Trump is the only strong one because Donald Trump is the only one who is not allowed, especially since at minimum since Nixon, but much before that, has not allowed the DOJ to act independently. And that's because he wanted to be able to go after his political enemies, right? And again, he's reopening the investigation specifically against people that he doesn't like. So just what you gave him credit for the investigation, he's going right back at that. And he's doing it specifically so he doesn't have to release a lot of files, which I'm pretty sure is why they want to put those investigations anyway. But when you talk about the email from the girls, you're right. That one email just independently, it could mean a whole bunch of things. That's not the most specific one. You said it's the most one talked about in the media, and that's also incredibly not true. The most one talked about in the media is where Bannon wants to know, if Putin still has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. To be completely honest with you, I couldn't give a shit about the knowing the girls one whatsoever. Okay, I do very, very much want to know who Bubba is. Okay, I do very, very much want to know who Bubba is. All right, especially since apparently it's not Bill Clinton. Okay, I still believe it's Bill Clinton. But hey, I mean, if you guys can believe that vaccines don't work, then I can believe that that it was still Clinton. That's just for my own benefit. I don't have any actual proof of that. That's just for my.
Can I tell you something?
No. So that's
Bubba
actually
is me.
So that's
Bubba
only
is
for
me. I still have the photo.
Okay, sir, that's totally fine. I think that some people are looking for it, and I guess Putin has them also. Okay, but when we actually, the biggest problem with that is that it's insinuating, all right, that Putin specifically has leverage over Donald Trump, right? And so when we have Donald Trump, who is the leader of the United States, who can make decisions on behalf of the United States, right? Individually, probably has more power as a single individual than any other person in the United States, right? And that person is possibly linked to another foreign leader, somebody who is an adversary of ours, right? Has some type of dirt on him, right? I.e. him, blowing a horse or whatever the heck it was, right? That is problematic for the rest of us. If Donald Trump wants to go blow people, I got nothing to do with any of that.
Sounds like you got a problem with it.
Oh no, I do have a problem with Putin having leverage on the president, though.
Don't you think he would have released it by now?
Why?
Because it would literally diminish his whole presidency and make us look like absolute clown of a country.
Why? When he could just use it to control him and to get what he wants.
Is that what it seems like to you?
Yes.
Okay, I think that email is absolutely the least one you have to worry about.
Okay, well, you can think that all you want.
Yeah, that's a massive stretch. You just
but we're not talking. Well, it's not a massive stretch.
You're less concerned about
you're
less concerned about the girls being trafficked and more concerned about who's slobbing on Trump's
sir.
knob?
You just told me that those girls weren't being trafficked. They could have been models. They could have been strippers. They could have been all sorts of people. You just said that. So why am I? So why should I be concerned about it?
This is what I mean. If we could get more information for one of those emails in specific, I would probably choose the one about the girls, not about the slob on the knob.
Gotcha. So you just told me that I shouldn't be worried about that email at all because most of those girls are in their 20s.
I don't think it indicts
they're
him.
They're older. They're all of those sorts of things. So I'm just taking your advice, right? I'm just taking your advice because I'm admitting to the fact that hold on, sir. While I think that email is definitely suspicious, okay, I cannot prove that the girls that they were talking about specifically in that email, all right, were being trafficked or that they were younger, okay? But I can look at the email that says Putin has photos of Trump blowing Bubba and use very, very easy reasoning to go Putin has dirt on Trump, or at least Epstein has a reason to believe that Putin has dirt on Trump. Either of which are very, very scary to me.
Yeah, I don't know. That one isn't really concerning to me either. It's like, you see how these emails just don't really actually claim anything?
Oh, they claim tons. Now, whether or not all of those claims are 100% accurate, I don't know. All right.
Yeah. Why would the Russian president have a picture of Trump blowing someone? You think Trump wouldn't be like, come on, bro? Like,
because the Russian president
is what the Democratic Party has come to, y'all. It's so sad, bro.
Because the Russian president is an ex-KGB agent who understands leverage and understands blackmail, right? He literally
you don't think Donald Trump knows that, and you think he would do that in front of a Russian president?
Okay, I do not think in any way, shape, and form that Donald Trump is even in the ballpark of understanding intelligence gathering in comparison to an ex-KGB agent. Okay?
I would think that would be
not even close. You would think, okay, but again, I don't think you're very much in intelligence either, right?
I mean, I'm in more intelligence than you, clearly.
Oh, okay. Well, do you know what I mean
by
by
glasses
intelligence?
Doesn't mean you're intelligent.
Yeah, that's not the intelligence I'm talking about, sir. All right. So just thought I'd let you know that. Okay. Well, we are talking about intelligence gathering, all right, and how to use leverage. Putin is literally the pro at that, right? I mean, that's what the KGB does. They are an intelligence agency, and that's what they do. All right. And so if he thinks that he can still get things that help his country, maybe at the detriment of the United States citizens or United States as a country, right? And he thinks he can get those things. All right. Then I'm sure he's doing that. And that is much more concerning to me than an email, again, like you said, about girls that could possibly be in their 20s. Now, if you want to talk about girls being trafficked, we have, things saying, specifically about, the dog that hasn't barked and how he specifically spent time with a redacted victim's
That
name.
one is the most concerning to me.
That one is incredibly concerning as a
I
human
agree.
being, as a moral person. But if you really cared about like the morality of Donald Trump, then we would never even be in this situation, right? So I'm talking more specifically about the thing that affects all Americans, because that's our national security, and that is terrifying. And Donald Trump has had a huge disregard for our national security, especially as of late.
I would say he's probably been the best president ever on national security when you look at his border security numbers and the deportation process. Like, that is clearly he's the best national security president to ever exist. His numbers are like very minimal compared to any president. I think he has like less than Biden. Like, if you double his border encounters and even triple them, it's less than Biden. It's like, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to national security, Trump is clearly the top dog.
And he's not even close to the numbers of Obama. But we're not going to just
He's way below Obama.
Incredibly below Obama. So therefore, if deportations,
In border crossings?
in border
Yeah, exactly.
crossings and in deportations and repatriations and all of it, he is well below the deportation
Yes, he's
numbers
well
of
below Obama in border encounters and crossings.
But
Correct.
sir, when we talk
That's a
about
good
national security, we don't just pigeonhole it down into an immigration thought. He is currently making deals with ex-members of Al Qaeda. He's selling off F-35s and other things to Saudi Arabia. He's allowing the Qataris to, operate on our bases. He's sold multiple things to countries that have very, very close ties with China. And if our secrets are, allowed to go to these other countries, right, then even our own intelligence and our own defense intelligence is saying that there is a strong likelihood that our secrets, as in like things like the F-35, are going to get into the hands of China. Okay. And while I know that immigration really, really scares, especially MAGA and people on the right, all right, I am much more afraid of China having our intelligence secrets than I am of somebody of people coming across our southern border. Now, while our people coming across the southern border can be an issue, it's not nearly as scary of an issue as our pacing ally in China having our secrets. Pacing adversary. Sorry.
So do you not want a good relationship with Saudi Arabia?
Sir, we have great relationships with a whole bunch of countries that we don't give our intelligence to.
I don't think we gave intelligence to Saudi. We gave them jets.
Yes. Our newest capable fighter jet right now that contains a lot of technology that China doesn't quite have, and now they have the ability to defeat ours.
And we have military bases in Saudi, so it's kind of a deal,
I don't think that you're quite understanding the gravity.
And the reason
of
I
what I'm
support our
saying.
relationship with Saudi is because I think we need to take a step back from Israel.
Sir, I have no problem having a decent relationship with Saudi. There is a big
You just complained about it
difference.
for 3 minutes.
No, sir, I complained about us giving F-35s to Saudi. Again, we have great
Exactly.
relationships with lots of countries that we don't give our fighter jets to. Okay,
But we
can
gave all
have
this equipment
excellent-
to Ukraine. Do you have a problem with giving
We
all
didn't
all
give
of our equipment to Ukraine?
F-35s to Ukraine.
But we gave plenty of destruction equipment.
We gave lots of destruction equipment, but most of it was for like Cold War era equipment that did not have any intelligence possibility of being gathered by especially troops from North Korea.
Yeah,
right?
F-35s are
taking that-
outdated as well, right?
Oh, okay. So what's the newer fighter jet in the U.S. military arsenal?
It's like F-60 something.
No, it's not. There is no F-60 anything, okay, that is deployable or operational within our military. Not at all.
Dang,
The
how
newest-
are you tell me that?
The newest jet would actually be what Donald Trump approved, which was the F-47, and that's not operational by now. Operational at this time.
So you're saying F-35s are our newest and our best jets?
They're some of our best, yeah. But again, we didn't give those to Ukraine, right? We gave F-16s to Ukraine, or more specifically, we allowed the EU to give, F-16s to Ukraine, right? And F-16s are like 1970s technology.
So whatever the jet is, the whole premise here is just, should we be helping Saudi and building a strong relationship with them? And if they are saying they're going to combat terrorism, and then I 100% support that.
Sir, I have no problem with Saudi Arabia and us having a good relationship. I have no problem with us and Saudi
But
Arabia.
you just don't want to sell them jets.
I don't want to sell them those jets. Okay? I don't want to sell them those jets when our own intelligence agency, okay, says that that specific airplane contains our secrets, and giving it to Saudi Arabia could create a situation where China has that technology. Okay? Again, you're trying to make this thing about, oh, you have a problem with Saudi Arabia, or you have a problem with this. No, I'm not saying that. Okay. Now, Saudi Arabia has backed plenty of terrorist groups. Okay. They've harbored terrorists against us.
Yeah, we all
right?
know
If
who
they
was
want to
behind
change.
9/11.
Oh, and who's that?
It sure as hell wasn't Al Qaeda.
Oh, okay. Cool. Sorry.
And if it was Al Qaeda, it was funded by.
My bad. I left my tinfoil hat downstairs. Yeah, I left my tinfoil. Yeah, I left my tinfoil hat downstairs, sir. Okay. So we're gonna have to keep away from that.
You should probably keep your tinfoil hat downstairs because that's secret technology, and you don't want to leak that to Chinese, right?
No.
You know, Paulie, I fuck with you, bro. You're actually pretty chill compared to all these other liberal streamers that have a dick up their ass. Dude, you know my name's not Greg Pratt, right?
I do not care what your name is.
You got absolutely scammed, bro.
I do not know what your name is. I didn't even. Is that what your screen name is? I didn't even look.
You think I'm just gonna leak my intelligence to you?
I don't know who you are, nor do I care. You are insignificant in my life.
My name is Bubba.
Again, sir, I don't care. I do
I
know
think
it is.
Bubba
I do know it is
is
quite
Bubba Netanyahu.
strange that Donald that if you just talk to a MAGA person for long enough, it just gets to male genitalia, which I find very interesting.
You brought that up, bro. You said that was the most concerning email was male genitalia. So that means you think about it more than anybody.
Okay. Well, it doesn't sound like you have much of any intelligence to add to this conversation. So I guess
How
I'll
about
just
we end
move
with
on
an
to the next
agreement?
person.
How about we end with an agreement and try to
No,
bring this country
I'm
together?
good. Anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you. Please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate that. Chris, thank you so much for the $5 over on Venmo. That really means a lot. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. 77, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. I really appreciate that also. Thank you so much. Pixie, thank you so much for the $5 super chat and absolutely discussing justifying calling them girls. We all know what they were referring to. P.S. Give Summer some good pets for me. I will. I'll call her up here in a second. I will. Patty, thank you so much for the 5. Feisty, yeah, he was he was a little nah, he wasn't a little. That dude was weird. That dude was very, very weird. Yeah, exactly. Caller definitely wouldn't do that. That is absolutely horrible. That was a very strange guess. That was a very strange guess to start a Wednesday off with. But thank you guys so much for being here. If you guys would like support, I do have super chats open. If you're on YouTube, I do have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. They're all at Polypolitics, just like my name. I have my little gift goal here, which I think I've gotten like one of. So if you guys would like to support the live, those are all great ways to do it. I really appreciate that. We're going to keep this thing going. I think I'm going to open up these phone lines. And yeah, we'll get this thing going. I really appreciate you guys. Is Summer my boyfriend? Summer would be my girlfriend. Summer would be my girlfriend. The only girlfriend that really, really matters in my life. Just kidding. Hello, how are you?
Hello, this is, I'm calling about this guy. I stumbled on his podcast. I work for the government. I work municipal now because, not doing that federal stuff anymore, but yeah. Interested. His perspective is nice. Not so much balance, but fun. It sounds fun.
Whose perspective is nice? Are you talking about me? I'm so confused.
Oh, I heard a woman's voice at first.
Oh, well, thank you. I brought up my feminine voice.
No shit. All right, so I caught some stuff you guys were talking about with some dude about some MAGA dude about dumb. outlandish shit.
Real quick,
And, yo,
guys, meet Summer. This is Summer. This is my girlfriend right here.
I'm trying to watch too. This is not helping.
Don't tell my actual girlfriend.
Oh,
Thank you,
okay.
mamas. Thank you. All right. Anyways, sorry. Do you support Trump?
I've worked in various levels of government throughout my life. I'm in my 40s. No, I don't support any head of state outright. There's no point.
All right, man. Well, I do appreciate that. I am going to move on though, because I am looking to talk to Trump supporters right now. But I hope you have a really wonderful day. Okay.
Whoa! Hold on. I do support some of the stuff he does. You know.
Okay. Well, I don't really care about that. Like, to be completely honest with you. Okay, you can find something from anybody that you could do. Did you know the economy exploded under Hitler?
Oh yeah, of course it did.
Yeah. So like you can
Dumb.
find, if you're just looking for like a positive that a horrible person is doing, you can find it, sir. Like that's not
I like
horrible.
this.
I mean, if you really
No,
want to be
I like
honest, with you,
this.
Manson was really great at bringing people together. Okay.
No, for sure he did. Yeah,
But- so-
fuck yes. I like this thought experiment. Yes, they did, and yes, Trump did that very well. He did a lot of things where he got a lot of these rednecks. He got a lot of people going good. Yeah. But he did turn a lot of liberals. You have to admit he did turn some liberals red. Blue went red a lot.
Yeah, and
A lot.
Kamala Harris took a bunch of conservatives and turned them blue too. It happens every election. I'm gonna move on. Have a wonderful day. Hello, how are you?
Yeah. Hey, is this the Trump supporter thing?
I mean, I've heard it called lots of things. That's not one of them, but sure.
No, not you. That you wanted to speak with somebody that perhaps might be a Trump supporter in a genuinely fashion, I guess, rather than all those other idiots just being not genuine, you know?
Well, I do prefer people that are genuine, that's for sure. So how old are you?
I'm 42.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Honestly, no. I did, and I don't know if that still counts as a Trump supporter, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I was not a Trump supporter at the beginning, and I fell into the hole that I thought that he was going to be a good president on the second term, because I honestly didn't see anything. Myself, I actually did pretty good in his first term. So come his second term, I thought, hey, maybe he's gonna, but nah, man, this guy went off the rails bad, like really bad. Really bad.
Well, I'll let you know he was off the rails the first time. Okay, he didn't start that. He was already off the rails the first time. He just was a little bit more contained by having smart people around him. But he went ahead and fixed that, so he doesn't have those smart people around him anymore. But again, I am going to move on to the next conversation because I am trying to find some Trump supporters, and they are getting a little harder to find with all the Epstein stuff going on. So I am going to keep moving it on to the next person.
All
but I
right,
hope you have a good day. All right.
Either way, it was nice talking to you, man. It was nice talking to you. Good luck
You
out there,
too.
man.
All right,
Have a
man.
good.
All right. Bye bye. All right. This is an interesting Wednesday, to say the least. Gloria, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. I really appreciate that. It said that keep up the good work. And Chris, thank you so much. I think I already said thanks, Chris, for the $5 on Venmo. Says Greg stinks. Greg did stink. I could smell Greg from here. Y'all, please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. How old are you?
41.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. So what has Trump done for you lately?
So one thing is, and I'm quite sure you've probably gotten this, but the immigration crackdown. But I really want to point out a distinction that I don't agree in the tactics that ICE has gone about. So while I agree with his crackdown on immigration. I don't agree with some of the tactics. That's one.
But sir, Donald Trump's tactics are his immigration policy. You don't
Right.
you
The
don't you don't
policy
you
I
don't you don't
agree
get to
with. I
separate
don't
them.
agree with them. Well, here's what I'm separating. When ICE agents are kneeling on the throats of people or, aggressively detaining them, I don't condone that. Does that make sense?
Sir, that is Donald Trump's immigration policy. Okay?
Okay.
That is what he is doing. Okay? You don't get to just say, "Oh, I like Trump, the fact that he's doing X, Y, and Z, but I don't like the way that he's doing." Of course, that his whole plan is to do it as brutally and as inhumane as he possibly can. This isn't ICE acting alone. This is direct orders from the White House to act exactly like this. If Donald Trump was just
Can
roaming
you show me an
around,
order that states to act like this?
yes, Stephen Miller. It is reported that Stephen
Okay.
Miller called everyone, all the heads of ICE, to the White House, who told them to stop going after criminals and start going to convenience markets and 7-Elevens, and he ordered them to be more forceful. They have literally fired ICE head after ICE head after ICE head, specifically for the reason of not being violent enough, not being aggressive enough.
So one of the things you said was stop going after criminals. That was an actual
That was an order from Stephen Miller.
order. Okay.
Yeah, and Donald Trump said on 60 Minutes he didn't think that their tactics were going far enough. Donald Trump said it.
It's insane.
He said he was specifically asked, "Do you think that what if you see these horrible things happening, pregnant women getting thrown on the ground, all these brutal tactics and everything? Do you think that ICE is going too far?" And he said, "I don't think they're going far enough."
Oh, I did see that one. So stop going after criminals, though, is everything that I know and see supports the opposite of that, though, that they really are focusing on criminals. So
Who said that?
Well, so the results won, there's lots of reports that are accurate and factual that criminals have been largely the target.
I'm sorry, sir. By the way, if you have to say articles are accurate and factual, if you have to qualify that, then it makes me very, very much think that the articles are not those things. Okay.
Okay, absolutely. I can dig it. I guess I say that to prevent the kind of argument that would say, "Well, you're just using opinion or whatever," So that's why I would have said that.
Yeah, sir. Less than 20% of the people, I think it's actually less than 15, but less than 20% of the people that have been detained, arrested, deported, or any of that under the Trump administration have not had any criminal record whatsoever.
All right, hold on just 1 second. I'm pulling up something so that I can just be factual, as should be my duty. And then so covering the immigration still, but the U.S. Census counts anybody, whether they're immigrant or illegal or tourist. And the Democrats using that as a pull towards a supermajority. Can we speak on that?
Yes, it's 100% not true. And actually, if you look at where immigrants specifically, are moving in the United States, they actually tend to move to places that are more red. And once they actually are American citizens and they can vote, they vote about 50-50 right and left. So.
Okay. And then, so if that's true, then why would they? Okay, you said if they're legal, but Title 42 accounts for illegal immigrants receiving temporary status. So that means criminals, people who never entered legally, a funnel of 531,000 individuals paroled under the Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, and
Hold on.
Venezuelan.
We're not under Title 42. Why are we talking about Title 42?
Because that grants legal citizenship to illegals and it's called facilitated entry.
Sir, Title 42 ended 2 years ago. Title 42 was 3 years ago. Title 42 was instituted under the Trump administration due to COVID. Title 42 doesn't do any of the things that you're talking about. Title 42 is a pre-existing law that allows for pretty much a complete shutdown of the border from legal and illegal immigration of all types of immigration due to like a pandemic response. And that hasn't been in place in a long time.
So hold on. Title 42 shuts down the border. Is this what I heard you just say?
Yes.
Okay. Title 42, I'm pulling up the definition as a little better to come off, but Title 42 grants, there's expulsion and then not immunity, but like not refugee, but they get a status where they get to be a citizen. So it doesn't shut down the border. It does the exact opposite.
Title 42 is the thing that Donald Trump, well, specifically Congress implemented, but Donald Trump signed in from a removal from a change from Title 8 in order to shut down the border for COVID.
Right. But 42 doesn't do anything to shut it down. It allows them in, and it allows them citizenship.
What in the... Are we living in a different... Sir, I don't know what dimension that you're living in, okay? Or what timeline, okay? Title 42 is a pandemic response, okay? It does not grant anyone citizenship, okay? Or legal status, or allow someone to vote. I have no idea what you're talking about right now, or what you're confusing this with, okay? Because you're obviously very confused on whatever you're talking about right now, okay? I'm telling you what Title 42 does. Okay. We are currently not under Title 42. Do you know what title we're under?
Title 8.
Good job. See, we're under Title 8, so therefore we're not under Title 42. And Title 42 expired, I believe, in 2022. Okay.
Right.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I get it. It totally valid argument. Title 42 circumvents standard due process, but crucially leaves out any administrative penalties to immigration, which would bar future entry. Number one, it grants the special.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So
because you're kicking everybody out because of the pandemic, not because of something criminal. So you're saying, hey, you got to leave now, but it doesn't mean you can't come back later when we're not in a pandemic.
Because it was used as the primary mechanism for inadmissible aliens seeking to enter and pursue asylum. That's the word I was looking for. And it was used by more than 852,000 otherwise inadmissible aliens since January 2023. These mechanisms represent a policy decision to use conditional entry or parole as a replacement.
Sir, what are you reading?
Right.
You said 2023. So Title 42 was not in place in 2023.
Asylum.
Asylum is part of Title 8 under U.S. Code 1158, 8 U.S. Code 1158, which grants asylum, but that was the law before COVID, and it's the law after COVID.
Right. So asylum is separate from 42 and 8 because it could apply to either of them. But so I totally get it, and I move the argument off of it to just know that we know that there was a immigration thing going on. My claim is that asylum was applied to otherwise inadmissible aliens that shouldn't have been here, that one of the primary mechanisms was facilitated through Title 42. I get that there can be title of contention between that where you wouldn't agree, but that's my claim. And then to move the argument forward, emergency Medicaid funds, right?
Okay, so let's stop right there. Again, if you're saying that Title 42 was used, Donald Trump instituted Title 42. not the Biden administration. So you'd be blaming all
Sure.
of those asylum seekers on Trump from the get-go, which would not be a valid argument for you, okay?
Well,
If
it
you-
would be a valid argument, and I appreciate you bringing it back.
I wasn't finished
If-
with my point at all.
Sorry.
Wasn't even close.
10-4.
Yeah.
10-4.
Thank you. So again, it would not be a valid argument towards you whatsoever, okay? But asylum has been legal the whole time. And yes, asylum law does put people in that otherwise would not be admissible, because the reason why they're allowed in is because of asylum. That's the whole point. So all you're telling me is that they're allowed in under asylum because they wouldn't be allowed in under anything else. Yeah, that's why we have asylum, because it's a special circumstance for people to be admitted in the United States who meet the circumstances outlined under asylum law that wouldn't normally be able to immigrate here. That's the point. It would be really weird if we said, hey, you can seek asylum, but only if you qualify under something else. That would be very, very strange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the argument is well made that Title 42 would have been instituted under Trump. It's unfair to claim that he would have been the only president to have the executive authority to use it, or the administration body to use it. And so what I'm saying about it is that regardless of who instituted it, it's who used it. And so that falls heavily under the Biden, almost entirely, in the fact that it becomes the utilization of it became a mass parole
You just
event.
said it started in 2023 and we weren't under Title 42 anymore. I've already said this 4 times. Your numbers that
Right.
you're reading right now said that those numbers started in 2023 after Title 42 had already expired.
Right. One of the things I mentioned when we brought up 2023 is the argument is asylum was the main difference. 42 was one of the main factors to get him in here in the first place.
Sir, what are you reading?
But the facts as they're put out, as far as
No, truly. You are
Right,
literally
yeah.
reading verbatim from something, and no
I'm
offense.
pulling
No,
the
sir.
citation right now
sir.
from the source.
I'm just
is
saying
from-
you don't understand what you're reading, okay? And it's you just keep repeating the same thing. You keep like reading it over and over, trying to repeat like the same talking point over and over, but you're not comprehending what you're reading. Okay. And I'm trying to explain to you what you're reading. All right. Because I would really like to get past this part so we can actually move on. If you want to talk about asylum seekers in the United States, we can talk about that, but we can't get there. Okay. Because you're having a hard time understanding that Title 42 and the implementation of asylum law under Title 8
Asylum.
are 2 completely different things. Okay.
Uh-huh. And by the way, where that's being cited from is USCIS.gov, Refugees International, and Texas Tribune.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you stop reading it and attempt to have a conversation like a human being?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay. So your problem is with asylum.
Well, yeah, and the fact that it was a mass parole event. So the fact that the way that it was used in it being a mass parole event.
And how was it used?
But, right. The mass parole event is the way that it was used to say that it applied in immense numbers as hadn't been done before, hadn't been done since. And then looking at why is California and New York 2 biggest constituent states, right? So for your House and Senate seats, why are they not required to have ID at the ballot box? And why has IDs been issued to people under asylum? Oh, because they're legal immigrants. So illegal people getting in here and then becoming legal is just a conundrum to me.
Okay. So asylum law does not grant somebody the right to become a U.S. citizen. It does not grant them permanent residency. And it sure as hell does not grant them the right for them to vote.
I didn't say that granted them the right to vote yet.
Yeah. So again, asylum is just a temporary legal status until they can be seen in front of a judge. And once they're seen in front of a judge, it's like less than 20% of those same asylum seekers that are even allowed to stay in the United States. The overwhelming majority of them are deported immediately after their court case because they don't have a valid asylum case according to the law because no, they don't have a valid one. A lot of them do have a valid asylum case, but it's a very, very high bar and it's very, very hard to prove. Then once, if you actually do get past the incredibly insanely high bar of actually being able to be granted actual asylum in the United States, then you can start the process of possibly becoming an American citizen later, which is now going to take you 5, 8, 10 years down the road to be able to vote. So literally anybody who like even sought asylum like in under the Biden administration is probably still like 3 to 5 years away from even getting their asylum case to find out if they have an asylum case. And then there are another 5 to 10 years past that until they have the ability to vote. So we're talking about another 10 to 15 years from now that those people might possibly, maybe, if everything lines up perfectly right, might be able to vote sometime. And then once they vote, then they will vote about 50-50 Republican to Democrat.
Sure. One thing we're really not taking into account is the fact that bodies in a state count for the census, okay, whether they're tourists or immigrant. So regardless of their ability to vote, because it wasn't going to be my contention that they got to vote, what the deal is number one, you're bringing in massive amounts of bodies into your state, which counts as seats to the Senate and House, right?
How many?
So you can create a supermajority through that method, yeah?
A supermajority of who? If you look at the census numbers from like October of last year to like May of this year, right? The majority of immigrants are migrating to places like Texas and Florida. So what? We're creating a supermajority of Republicans?
I mean, the numbers I see point to especially California and New York, both blue, and then also is that emergency Medicaid. Let's talk about the shutdown.
Hold on. No. Let's not move to emergency Medicaid, sir. No, immigrants are not moving in mass to places like California and New York. Do you understand why that is?
Why do they have that homeless problem going? And I'm not obfuscating.
They've had a homeless problem my entire life. I grew up in Southern California.
Right.
So do you know why they moved to places like Texas and Florida?
And New York and California as well, right?
They're moving primarily to places like Texas and Florida. Do you know why?
I don't see. I mean, I see numbers in Texas and Florida.
All right, sir.
But
Either yes or no. Yes or no.
I think it's California and New York.
I don't care. No? Do you either know why they're moving there or you don't? Yes or no?
Okay. No, I don't know why they're moving there.
Because it's cheaper. Okay? Because it's cheaper and there's more work there. Okay? No, I don't know why you think that somebody who immigrated over this country has no money, okay? So therefore is trying to work to survive to be able to eat, all right? Would primarily want to live in the 2 most expensive states in the United States. That doesn't make any sense. Okay? They are moving to places like Texas, like Florida, and a lot of other red states, right? Because red states tend to have a lower cost of living. All right, especially those red states, on the south there. And Texas has the largest border, like any land border in the south of the United States than any other country. All right, they're not coming in through Texas and being like, you know what, New York, that place, you know what that place has? Great warm weather and cheap things. That's what New York is very well known for. Is just great warm weather and affordability.
They have subsidies for the immigrants, so that's the thing.
They have temporary subsidies for the immigrants, for asylum seekers. What are they going to do after that 6 months is up?
Probably get deported. That's what you were saying, and
Why would they get deported? It takes 5 years for them to have their court case.
So they're not even getting deported? They're still finding a way.
They're getting deported if they don't meet the qualifications at their court case 5 years down the road.
So they're here for 5 years and not getting kicked out? Yeah.
No, because they're here legally.
Right.
Why would we kick
Yeah.
out people that are here legally?
Because of the channel, I tried to point out how that opened up, but I get the impasse there and whether I'm right or wrong. The emergency, so the subsidies that we already know were happening, right? So why would they move to those places? Because they're getting money to go there, number one. The numbers show it, number two. Number three.
Where are these numbers? I'd love to see the numbers. And please, do you have anything besides the Texas Tribune, which is incredibly right-wing and anti-immigration?
I would concede that point. The other two sources were not.
All right. So
not.
where is USCIS saying that? I would love to see that. Where we're seeing mass migration to places like Texas and Florida, because the census doesn't say that, or to New York and California, because the census doesn't say that. The census specifically says the opposite.
Census.gov. That's where I'm pulling this from. Census.gov. Topics, public -sector /
Just give me the name,
congressional-
sir. I don't need the slashes.
Okay. I was giving you the URL. Sorry. AILA, AILA, .org. And
hold on, you just said it was census.gov.
Yeah, I'm giving you multiple sources.
No, I'll just take that one. Census.gov. What's the
Okay.
name of the article from
Yeah.
census.gov?
Right. Congressional apportionment.
Okay. What year? 2024?
It's not going to matter, honestly, because it's on the apportionment. But
Yeah,
this one's November
census
8th,
apportionment comes in
2025.
years. So
Yeah, so this, excuse me, my bad. November 8th, 2025.
yeah, so the last census apportionment results on here are from the 2020 census. We don't even have numbers since then, so I don't think these are very valid.
Okay.
Yeah, and before
And
that,
what
it's the
does it say?
2010
What is it?
census because that's the last
Right.
time we've done a full census. So
Right, and the deal is that the facts remain no matter what year it is. So, how removing unauthorized immigrants from census statistics would affect House reapportionment.
Sir, I know
comes from
that
Pew
already.
Research.
Where are you showing me that migrants under the Biden administration were seeking
Oh.
asylum and going straight to places like New York and California, when we specifically know that the majority of the reason why asylum seekers made it to New York is because Republicans sent them there.
Oh, Republicans sent them there.
No,
Got it.
okay, sorry,
Got it.
not Republicans. Greg Abbott sent them there and brags about it online with his mouth and on his website, where he brags about taking asylum seekers from Texas and sending them to places like Chicago and New York.
Yeah, so I really appreciate the talking points. They give me something to walk away with. The fact is,
I'm assuming you just
that-
looked that up and realized I was right and now don't want to address
no,
it.
I didn't. I didn't. What I honestly, what that really is I want to respect your time, to be really honest with you, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. You know what I mean?
You've been doing a real bad job if that was your goal.
I'm sorry, what?
You've been doing a real bad job if that was your goal.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's like this, my friend, is that mass immigration, asylum, parole was committed by the Biden administration wholesale. And if you want to look at raw numbers, you'll see two types. Raw immigration deportations, in which case you will see that Biden deported more than Trump has yet. But the second one to look at is the deportations that happened under 42 because it allowed asylum, so they didn't actually get deported. And a massive amount of those immigrants came in and were asylum here, which means they illegally came here, and then somebody just said, okay, it's fine, you're not illegal anymore. Number two, emergency Medicaid funds. Hold on real quick.
No, time.
Because I laid those out pretty well. I've laid them out.
Whoa, sir.
And I gave the sources.
Sir. First of all, okay, we need a time out right here, okay? First of all, sir, it's just that a whole bunch more people showed up, okay? And when you have a whole bunch more people show up, then you're going to have a whole bunch more people that qualify for asylum. But it wasn't people coming in illegally and then somebody just going, you look like you need to like have asylum or something. That's not how that works. You have to come here and claim asylum. Then once you claim asylum, you have to have evidence and be able to prove it to someone at the Border Patrol. And if you still can't prove it, then you're immediately deported.
Historic high by a
because there was a historic high of people showing up at the southern border.
There's no need. There's a need.
There was a historic
I get the numbers,
high.
But not for asylum. There's
yes, there was for asylum. Okay.
So, okay, the deportation
How many people do you
numbers,
think sought asylum?
861,000 in one case, 531,000 in the Nicaraguan, Cuban, and more even. And
Sir,
those are listed
you're still
in,
under numbers of illegal immigrants that came in per year under the Trump administration.
No,
the
these
first
are
time.
Asylum numbers.
I
if
am
I go
aware, sir. You're still under the number of just undocumented immigrants that just entered the country, not under illegal means, under the Trump administration per year in his first term.
So the categorical basis of these numbers is that these are otherwise unadmissible aliens.
Sir,
that
is the dumbest
category.
shit ever.
I know. Facts fucking suck,
no,
my man.
No, you fucking suck because I've already explained this to you. Yes, sir. Asylum is specifically for people who meet asylum qualifications, but not other qualifications.
Listen, then what I get the fact that that's a valid, true point.
Then why have you brought it up about 7 times?
Because the difference being, if I gave asylum to 10 people, and the next president gave it to 20 people, and the next president gave it to 1.5 million, that's a massive difference. I'm talking about and you're talking about a historic time
the
of
president
immigration.
doesn't
I get
give
that,
people
but the
asylum.
deportation numbers match
The
your
president
statement.
doesn't give people asylum. Who passes laws in this country?
So it's the administration,
Who passes laws in this country?
That would be the House, the Congressional House, Senate.
Copy. And when did they pass asylum law?
Oh, long ago, long before
like
that.
40, 50 years ago.
So
okay,
if I
the Biden administration didn't make up this law. They didn't pass this law.
But
okay,
they
didn't
for
champion this law. Okay, no, sir. What happened before Biden took office?
Yeah, so COVID or what?
COVID. Good job.
Right.
Do you think that it's possible, sir? Do you think it's just somewhat possible somewhere like in your head that possibly COVID could have created the conditions in multiple countries that could have created that people that qualified for asylum went up?
No, not. I
okay,
mean,
well, that's what happened, whether you believe it or not.
My man.
Okay, well, that's what happened.
Sorry,
that's what happened, whether you believe it or not. It's the reason why we had a.
I would agree, but
sir, it's the reason why we had. Sir, it's the reason why we. Sir, it's the reason why we had a record number of people that were apprehended at the border. It was the reason we had a record number of people that were arrested at the border. It was the reason why we had record numbers of border crossings, and it's also the reason why we had the conditions to create more asylum people.
No.
Okay. Yes,
No,
I'm not asking your opinion. I'm telling you that's what it is.
I'm with you.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep.
And even with that, the Biden administration tried to shore up asylum seeking, tried to reduce the amount of time that asylum seekers were in the United States. Okay, tried to reduce the burden on the Border Patrol from having all these people come in. And still, even at that, over 60% of people that sought asylum at the southern border under the Biden administration were immediately deported. Okay. So therefore, if you showed up at the border to try to seek asylum, you had a worse than 50-50 shot of even being granted a court case to try to prove your case at that point. All right. So making this ridiculous thing that somehow the Biden administration is using asylum in order to create this, this amount of people of like for the census in 5 years. All right. Even though people are moving away from from blue states into red states by Joe Biden following the law, which he tried to change and tried to secure up. Okay, is crazy talk, sir. You're not saying anything that makes any sense, right? If you want to talk about freaking immigration, then how about we talk about immigration as if something that's actually logical? There was a bunch of fucking people that showed up. The Biden administration tried to do some certain things in order to try to fix that immigration problem, and they probably didn't do enough, okay? There was some decisions that were made by the Biden administration that I don't think were the best when it came to the immigration that we had here. All right. I think that we could have done a whole lot of a better job under the Biden administration of shoring up our southern border, of making better laws, of making better executive action, of making decisions, especially when it came to certain things like the release of detainees, right? When we had overcrowded detention centers on the border. Those are all things that I think the Biden administration could have done a shit ton better job as far as immigration came, okay? But this isn't fucking one of them, okay? This is a joke that doesn't make any sense, okay? And has nothing to do with anything. And honestly, at this point, it sounds like just a giant waste of everybody's time and breath that we're even still talking about it.
Yeah, and that's why I tried to move the needle further earlier. Because it does become a well-beaten horse when we can move on to the issue that the whole reason of talking about it is to talk about how the shutdown played out, right? And the claim there is that the shutdown is entirely the responsible because of the Democrats. And the evidence I would cite is that the Republicans, time and time again, brought a clean CR, continuing resolution, which means we will give you all of the budget you previously asked for, no strings attached. We will give you everything that you asked for previously, no strings attached. And the Democrats didn't take it. Why? Because of $3 trillion in ransom that they asked in order to open the government back up. So the talking point was that people weren't getting paid, the economy was going down, and people were losing SNAP. And the problem is that the blame went on Republicans somehow, when the only blame can only be on Democrats because they're the ones who wouldn't open it up. See? So that was the immigration talking point, because it leads here and why those numbers are and why they wouldn't agree, because it all ties in that that's a majority takeover and an absolute talking point.
Awesome. That would be totally cool if it was true, but it's not. Okay.
So they didn't pass a clean CR.
It was a mostly clean CR. Okay. And that's totally fine. I'm not trying to argue that point as much as the fact that, let's be very clear, Republicans could have passed that bill whenever they wanted without a single Democratic vote. Actually, Donald Trump specifically called for the nuclear option once, which would have given Republicans the ability to pass that without a single Democratic vote. And he called for getting rid of the filibuster, which is a second way that the Republicans could have passed it without a singular Democratic vote. They chose not to. They chose the only option that required a Democratic vote and then tried to blame the Democrats. And that's why the Republicans, okay, are actually taking the heat for it, because it's the Republicans' fault. Now, did the Democrats ask for things? Yes, I know. It's horrific. The Democrats were begging, please don't make 20 million people's healthcare, prices go up on an average of 114%. I know. That's a horrific thing. And they were willing to negotiate the entire time, which, again, the Trump administration refused to negotiate with them, refused to even sit down with them. Actually, Trump specifically said that he wasn't willing to negotiate with them, right? But see, because that would require, I'm still talking. I'm still talking. I don't care if it's a fucking clean CR or not. Why would I care if it's a clean CR? What does that have to do with anything that I'm saying, sir? It being a clean CR doesn't change shit. Okay. Does passing a clean CR make sure that 20 million people don't freaking have their healthcare premiums double?
It might, yeah, absolutely.
No, it would not. A clean CR doesn't do any of that. And the point that the Democrats were trying to get a point was they didn't want 20 million people's healthcare to go up 114% on average. That was the problem, not to mention the fact that healthcare was going to go up for a whole bunch of other people regardless, okay? So I have no problem with the Democrats taking credit for the shutdown. I think that it's pretty awesome that the Democrats actually took a stand and actually shut down the government in order to make sure that they were actually trying to help people, true actual American people, with their healthcare, something that Donald Trump has promised since his first term, okay, and has done absolutely zero to try to fix, okay? Because let's be honest, there actually is a lot of things that can be helped as far as the ACA, but the Republicans refuse to do that. So yeah, I agree. The Democrats did do it. I'm totally cool with that, but let's not make it sound like it's only the Democrats' fault. The Republicans could have negotiated, they could have ended the filibuster, and they could have used the nuclear option. All three of those things would have also ended the shutdown, where the Democrats just wanted, please give people affordable health care.
Right. Valid talking points. I appreciate the well thought out argument. Okay. I do. It's the thing is that you asked me, would that, the Republicans and the Clean CR, would that have stopped premiums from going up for the Americans? That's the entire deal of the cuts that were going on, is to take control of that. And why we can talk about immigration as a portion of this is that the premiums and the costs have gone through the roof for the American citizen in healthcare. So there's got to be something to be done. All right. Now, with that issue addressed, that there's at least a case to say that's exactly what Republicans were fighting for, is to get premiums down because of wasteful spending and horrible policy.
Awesome.
That then the Democrats and their $3 trillion ransom is exactly what they were saying.
Cool. Where's their plan?
I'm sorry, what?
Where is the Republican plan that is going to help get, healthcare premiums down? We're going to stop all this fraud and abuse, and then we're actually going to be helpful for Americans. Where's it at? Because Donald Trump was asked about it. He said he had concepts of a plan. He said he was working on something, but they have yet to show a singular thing in any way, shape, or form that would actually help American citizens get cheaper healthcare. So where's it at?
So it's in the cuts, one. Okay. So if you cut out fraudulent, wasteful spending that goes towards kickbacks, lobbyists, and private funding, and pork spending as well for a fourth one.
Yeah, sure.
If you cut that out, that cuts premiums.
Sure. Let's pretend for a second, which it doesn't, right? Let's pretend for a second we live in your fantasy world. Okay? Your fantasy world in which somehow cutting Medicaid spending in order to give tax cuts to billionaires helps insurance costs. Okay, let's live in a fantasy world where that's the truth. How does that work?
It doesn't work if the premise is based on that money going to billionaires.
It already did. It was already budgeted out in the big beautiful bill that all of that funding, including a debt increase, actually went to tax cuts for corporations in the United States, and that's where the Medicaid funding went. It didn't go back into funding Medicaid or to help people get more Medicaid or to help healthcare. It went to corporations for tax cuts. We already know because we already saw the budget reconciliation bill. So I don't need to see it. The premise is just the bill that the Republicans passed.
So, I'm gonna do the right thing here, and I'm gonna say that point, if well made, and since it was well made, is a good point. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the right thing here and not fight something I shouldn't fight. Okay. So the point that I'll back up on here, though, is that true in your world and in this world is that there's more to play than just at that. So I'll talk there. If you cut fraudulent, wasteful pork spending that is massively inflating premiums and causing a runaway system that isn't helpful and causing constant problems with doctors and nurses, that they're overtaxed and overworked, and you're trying to solve that by first getting a hold of the thing that is absolutely out of control. Is that a valid premise or not?
No.
Okay. So you're completely on. You can't fix it in steps. You have to know everything about it, as in.
No, I'm saying
I
that's
have
not
to
even a
have the whole
step.
plan.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's not even a
Okay.
step. That's not even kind of a
Then
step.
for?
Because all of these people that are being cut from Medicaid, first of all, okay, they are not the fraud, waste, and abuse people. We've done audits of Medicaid and found out that the majority of fraud that actually comes through Medicaid is actually from providers, not from patients. Right. I mean, and I'm talking like over like 80 something percent. I think it's actually close to 90% of the fraud that comes through Medicaid is providers, not patients. Donald Trump is cutting 10 to 17 million patients. Okay. So
Well,
that's not getting
so
rid of the
I-
fraud whatsoever. So therefore it's not increasing. Second of all
He
all
has
of those
no
people.
authority to cut patients, though,
Yeah,
right?
well, but he did. That's what the big beautiful bill did. Okay, it cut the funding and
But
increased the paperwork burden
It
in order to
the
cut
funding,
patients.
not
That's
the
what.
patients.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
that
where do you think
it-
that? Sorry, when you cut the funding, where do you think that funding is coming from?
That so that's a major point of contention,
It's
right?
not.
Between
Nope.
between the sides, it really
No,
is.
because what
and
else
let
did
me
they add in
highlight
there?
it. Well, okay, and I'll address that in a minute. It may or may not be a fair point, but until we address this point, is that this is the thing of it, my man, is that, and I don't use that derisively, okay, when I say my man, don't think that, is that, seriously, though, these providers who you just kind of said that they're the ones who are doing it wrong. That's the ones who are taking all of this funding. Where does that funding go when we subsidize healthcare? Do we subsidize individuals for their healthcare? No, we subsidize the providers to offer that. Okay, it is the providers who are the problem, and the throwing money at it in $3 trillion in ransom to hold the government shut down is the exact money that these providers are abusing.
The big beautiful bill is decreasing Medicaid funding and is using increased patient paperwork in order to cut it. Increased qualifications and paperwork for patients. It is making it more difficult for patients. Sorry, I'm saying Medicare. I meant Medicaid. It is making more difficult for patients to access Medicaid. That is what it is doing. It is not making it more difficult for providers. It's not making it more. The only providers that's making it more difficult are the people that are actually on those freaking plans, okay, that need that healthcare, which is actually overwhelmingly like affecting rural freaking people. Rural people whose hospitals rely on those Medicaid funds, people who actually need it. Okay? You're over here saying like, oh, well, you know, the we need to do something about the providers. Yes, we do. Trump's not doing that. The big beautiful bill is not doing that. Okay? It's going to take more people off of healthcare, which is then going to freaking have those people need emergency healthcare in order to survive. Okay? And then when they have to survive, then we all front the cost of that, okay, through our other healthcare premiums. So therefore, not only is he taking those people off of their healthcare, he's putting the bill on the American taxpayer. So making our insurance costs go up to cover those people. And again, he's using that money to fund corporate tax cuts. Okay,
I get it.
Not to bring it back to the American people, to fund corporate tax cuts. That's what he's using it for. But regardless of any of that, I've been on the phone with you way too long, and
Absolutely,
I'm moving on.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Oh my goodness, dude. That was like such a struggle. Y'all, make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm very good. That was a struggle bus. Holy crap. Jojo, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Said MAGA has become desperate. Yeah. I feel like I'm talking to all the desperation at this point. Jen, thank you so much for the $10. Say you have to wonder what percentage of MAGA men are jealous of whoever the fuck Bubba is. I actually talked to one earlier. He actually said he was Bubba. He was so jealous of it, he was actually fantasizing about being Bubba. That's crazy. Jason said, no, you said alternate dimension. That's their trigger to talk about trans folk. Jokes aside, these streams feed my soul. Thanks, Polly. Oh, thank you so much, Jason. I really appreciate that. Freddie, thank you so much for the $20. Said, Polly, you're a very intelligent guy about a lot of subject. You do a really good job. I try my best. I don't know everything, but I hold my own, okay? I don't know everything, but I do a pretty good job sometimes. Thank you so much, Freddie. Big nose in the chat for Freddie and for Jen for those last two. I really appreciate that. And Tad, thank you so much too. So that dude sounded like a librarian that hates books. He kept reading great replacement BS. Dude, it was just like the over and over. If I had to hear Title 42 one more time, I was gonna lose my whole mind. I was gonna lose my whole mind. Oh my goodness. And Gail, look at that with the 1 month membership too. That was not a debate, that was a mental marathon. And I am now exhausted. So I'm going to get off for the night, y'all. I hope you guys have a good one. I'll be back on normal time. Everyone blows bubbles. Stupid. I'm going to get off for the night. I'll be back on about my normal time, 6:45, 7 o'clock tomorrow. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm exhausted. All right. I love you guys. All right. See you guys later. Thank you guys so much for